Hello, Elise and Letitia, BBC Wolverhampton Radio. Wow, thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. You've gone. You've become still. Oh,
thank you for having us.
Oh,
you're still as
well.
Oh, whose internet connection is unstable? Is that mine? Is it?
I think you froze.
Did I? Sure. Okay, well, I can hear you now. So, hello, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us. So, you both are doing, is it BBC Radio Wolverhampton? Now, something I want to know. Come on, you've been doing this 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks? 15th of January? You started? Yeah. How many times did you practice saying your name, introducing yourself? That's what I want to know before your first show.
Do you know, somebody once texted into one of my previous radio shows and said, Elise, you say your name a lot. And I just say it once at the start of every link. So I don't know what station they were listening to. I don't know how many other releases there are, but I was a bit like, I only ever say it once. But no, I don't know really. Letitia, did you practice saying your name a lot?
I mean, the concern would be if I needed to practice to say my name because it's my name. So me personally, I didn't practice, but the thing I think we needed to practice was because we've both worked on different radio stations prior to BBC Wolverhampton, it's making sure we get BBC Radio Wolverhampton, because there has been a couple of times when I've nearly said my previous station.
See, I didn't know whether it was a case of where you kind of going, hi, my name's Elise Evans, and suddenly, I don't know, your family go, but why are you saying it like that? Why don't you say it kind of like with a bit more energy or kind of a little bit downbeat, or why are you putting that voice on? I'm just asking that question, you know, so obviously with Letitia, she's comfortable with it. I'm just wondering with you, Elise, just in case.
Yeah, no, I am, to be fair. Yeah, I don't mind it. Oh, my family are used to me being a gobby cow, so to be honest, it happens, yeah.
So
I'm due to be married soon, and I don't want to change my name because I've only just got used to saying Elise Evans, so I don't really want to start saying a new name, really.
I think what your next challenge for your next show is to see how many times you can say Elise in like 15 minutes. On your show, and see if somebody picks up on it and go, well, that was a challenge that was set for me, and see it, and then you can see whether Letitia can beat it.
Have a little
yeah, I mean, we've got a competition going on at the minute. We're doing a bake-off, but because we can't actually bring food into the station, what we're trying to do is we're going to get the practice in at home, aren't we, Elise? And then post pictures and stuff like that. But then when we are allowed to bring food in, we're going to have a proper bake-off challenge.
Yeah.
So come on, tell us why the need for this radio station, for this localised radio station? I know we've got BBC Radio WM, but now this is BBC Radio Wolverhampton. What's your remit as such?
Me, I'll go. Yeah, I mean, I think it's super important because Wolverhampton is one fantastic city. So, you know, we're not just a town, we're a city with so much diverse culture and, you know, incredible organisations, buildings, theatres. We've got a huge football team. You know, there's so many reasons really why BBC Radio Wolverhampton is needed and important. But I think more so than ever right now, we're going through a really challenging time. And the aim of this is to sort of connect everybody as best as possible because, you know, people can feel quite isolated. So this is our chance to sort of, as I describe it on there, to give everyone a big virtual hug and just say, look, we're here for you, we'll listen, we're here to be a friend, we're going to give you the latest news, we're going to give you the best music, the best guests, you know, a bit of fun as well. It's just a chance to keep everybody connected in this really rubbish time, to be honest, and I think that's the main ethos of the station.
And can people sorry, Letitia, go on, you were saying.
No, I was going to say, I can't echo enough what Elise has just said. You know, it's so important that we give Wolverhampton, because, you know, I've obviously not from Wolverhampton, but everybody that I interact with that just has a certain energy about them. Wolverhampton is so unique, it's so special, and they deserve their own service, and we want to hear their stories. And honestly, some of the things that people are doing, you know, be it in there make a difference, or just to help somebody that literally lives next door. I think it's such a wonderful thing. And we get the opportunity to share that and put it out there and let other people hear, look at the great things Wolverhampton are doing. We love to shout out every day about Wolverhampton. And I think that they massively deserve it. And, you know, like Elise was saying, we're here for you. And, you know, through these hard times, we're here to be your friend. And if we can give you that, like, a lot of people are alone at this moment in time. And some people, you know, maybe they don't really watch TV. They don't see anybody all day. Maybe they don't really know how to use technology. So they can't jump on Skype. They can't jump on Facebook. Maybe the radio is their only friend. And if we can give somebody that, then we're doing a good job.
Is it, can anybody phone in? So if they've got any kind of issue that where they, because obviously, as you've talked about, we are going through unprecedented times, you know, just in the sense that with coronavirus and how people are struggling, in the sense that if people have got coronavirus, they can't leave their home, you know, and if their family's got it, can somebody phone in and go, listen, I can't go to the shops. I don't really speak to my neighbours, but I need somebody to do my shopping for me. Is that the kind of thing that you're looking at in terms of trying to support? I'm not saying where you personally go out and do the shopping, but, you know, where you try and get people from the community.
Finish at 2, I'll be round.
I tell you what, though, what's brilliant about Wolverhampton, Letitia touched on it, is the fact we've got brilliant people. So, God forbid, if a situation arose like what you just mentioned, Vimal, you know, somebody was to show, look, I've got nobody else around me, I'm having to isolate, I'm shielding, I can't get out there. There would be somebody, I'm sure, that would be able to sort of get back in touch and go, hey, I'm here to help. We've got such a beautiful, you know, listenership in the West Midlands, and, you know, I've worked at WM for so many years, and it's just so nice to see that sort of translate now into Wolverhampton. And yeah, the people are great. So I think, you know, if any, we're all about the stories, we're all about sort of, you know, connecting people together, like I said. So we're always saying, call us, text us, email us, give us your stories, let us know what's going on.
So come on, Letitia, I'm going to put you on the hot spot. What's your favourite story to date? For the keep it clean. I know what you're like. No, I don't. I'm just making that up.
All 5 minutes and he knows me. So, do you know what? I'm very passionate about mental health, and I'm a big advocate for promoting, you know, self-love, good mental health. Like every morning I do a morning mantra, you know, just try and kick people, you know, not kick them, kickstart them.
Gosh, yeah.
Try and kickstart people. But I mean, some of the make a difference stories that we've heard so far. I mean, coats for kids. There's a charity going around collecting, you know, asking for donations of coats that people are not wearing to give to children that just they can't, you know, maybe their parents can't afford coats. I talked yesterday to somebody called Chris, who is a massive advocate for the youth. I think it's so important nowadays to hear the young voices, because young voices are being listened to, but they're not being heard. And it's so important to hear the things that they want to make change. They're not just out here like, oh yeah, you know, we're going to cause some ruckus or whatever they say, you know, and they're not doing that. There are young people out there that are doing phenomenal things. And every time I get to talk to a person, like the other day I interviewed a guy called Elijah. And when a few years ago, when he was about 13, there was an 11-year-old boy that was hit by a taxi. And he basically did so well in helping the emergency services and this little boy through the time where he was lying on the floor saying, I'm not going to make it through this, I'm going to die. Oh God, it moves me now. And he was telling me how he just sprung into action. Like it wasn't like he's like, I didn't really know what to do. He goes, it just happened. And he's now been put for a humanitarian award because of his actions, because it's just phenomenal. And he was telling me, you know, at school, he was one of these kids that had so much energy, the teacher didn't really know what to do with him. And he's now goes to a couple of days a week to this military school that teach him things that you don't learn at school. So about money, about finances, you know, all the things that we didn't learn, and just how to walk out into the world after school and be a grown-up. And he said, if it wasn't for going to that school, he said, you know, it would have changed him. It wouldn't have changed him as the person that he has become today. And it's because of going to that school. And that story, to hear a child who people in the school considered him to be, oh, we don't want him in our class, he's now almost top of his class. And it just makes me so proud to know that I have got the opportunity to speak to him about his life and the amazing things that he did.
Wow. I mean, that is wonderful. I mean, do you find that you're reaching out to communities? Because what you've said, obviously, about sharing people's stories. And sometimes Wolverhampton is so beautiful. As you've rightly said, there's so many different communities, whether you're Sikh, Hindu, Afro-Caribbean, African, Somali, you name it, Polish. There's so much, I was going to say a mishmash, but I mean it in a positive sense. It's so wonderful that you've got so many communities that are there. Do you kind of consciously make an effort to try and connect with those particular communities?
I think it's important, yeah.
Oh my gosh, massively. Only this morning we were running a feature about a fantastic campaign video, which is campaigning to sort of get ethnic minorities, the communities in Wolverhampton, or not just Wolverhampton, but across the UK, going to get their vaccine, because they've done a bit of research and they've seen that there's some of the minority communities that are just not coming forward to get their vaccinations. And why is that? So we're looking into about that. It's just what you said, Vimal. Absolutely, that's what's so great about Wolves. We've just got such a diverse, city, people from all different backgrounds, all different religions. It's a lovely melting pot that's just got all of these fantastic stories. And that's the aim of it. Yeah, it's like what Letitia said. We want to hear people's stories. And that story that Letitia just mentioned about Elijah was so moving. And that happened on our doorstep. Like, it's incredible.
Just yesterday as well, I had Gerback's Core, who is, and she specializes in Asian mental health, because in certain cultures, mental health isn't considered like a real thing, and especially in these times where everyone deals with things differently. But how does anyone know? There's no textbook on how to deal with what we're going through right now. How does anyone know? You could wake up today and feel absolutely fantastic. You can wake up tomorrow and just literally wish you didn't, and that's the reality of what we're going through. Mental health, a lot of people's mental health has been destroyed through COVID. And, again, in certain cultures, you can't come forward and say to your mom or your dad, my mental health is really bad right now, because they'd just be like, oh, just smile. It's not something that's talked about. So I thought it was incredible that I got to have a conversation with her back yesterday, and for her to reach out to other people and say, the service is for everybody, but if you are in a culture where mental health is not really considered a real thing, or you kind of just keep your chin up and don't talk about it, sweep it under the carpet, there are places you can go and feel safe and open up and just get it off your chest.
It's kind of strange being of Asian background, you tend to find that in terms of mental health, no one would ever admit it, because then suddenly it's seen as a flaw. And it's that whole thing of where people are cases, oh, no, I'm fine, everything's great. But really, we need more of it. And obviously what with Gerbax has done. Does she do spoken word as well, from what I remember? I can't remember now whether she used to do spoken word artist, or maybe I might be getting my lines crossed with somebody else who does spoken word as well in relation to mental health. But again, she does it in Punjab, whoever it might not be Gerbax, it might be somebody else, but they do it in Punjabi. They do spoken word in Punjabi, but in relation to mental health. And so suddenly what you're doing is you're reaching out to different communities and you're sharing those particular stories itself, which is so important. And obviously what both you ladies are doing is an amazing job by collecting those particular stories. So come on, who's the most famous person you've interviewed? Apart from me. No, I'm interviewing you. Go on. Go on, Elise.
I'll tell you what, we've had some really... Do you mean like in life, or do you mean on the show? Do you mean like on BBC Radio Wolverhampton?
Look, you do both. Come on, give it us. Come on.
So on BBC Radio Wolverhampton, we've had some really cool guests, because we've had 3 amazing women, all about, women who are paving the way for girls growing up in Wolverhampton right now, and boys as well. We had Jackie Oatley and Susie Perry, both fantastic sports commentators. Jackie Oatley was the first female commentator on Match of the Day, born and bred in Codsall, love it. We also had Beverly Knight, who is just a dream, vocal, incredible. But
did you get her to sing?
Beautiful person.
Did you get her to sing as well?
No, I did. It was early, and I thought, at 7:30, she's not going to be down for it. Well, she probably would.
And she'd sound incredible as well. She would.
Yeah.
No vocal.
Trust me, that woman's a queen. Queen.
So, come on, how about you, Letitia?
On BBC Wolverhampton, I loved having a catch up with Mark Rhodes. He is so funny. And we had an absolute blast. And I can't. I've already said to him he's got to come back. Like I've said to him, we had such a giggle. You've got to come back and teach me how to be a Wolverhamptonian, because he was trying to teach me different phrases, and it looks like I'm quite bad at it. So
Okay.
I'm getting there. But in life, oh gosh, I've interviewed a few. Billy Ocean was amazing.
Wow, yeah.
Billy Ocean.
I hope he gave you tickets to come and see him in his concert.
I wish I'd seen him on stage though. So
okay.
I can't say that. It was amazing. And then I interviewed him afterwards, and I actually sang for him because my co-presenter was like, she sings, go on. And I was like, what? And he was like, go on then. Him and his backing singers were sat there. I was like, oh no. And then I couldn't think of any song, so I just sang the words Caribbean Queen. It was so embarrassing.
Oh, no. That's the worst choice.
I was mortified. He must have just looked at me and thought, why did she bother? But he was the nicest guy. I've interviewed quite a few people. Like Robin S was one of my favorites as well.
Yeah.
She is. I mean, me and her were just grooving out, like busting a move. Yeah. We sang together. There's a few incredible interviews I've been lucky enough to do.
So can anyone contact you? So say they wanted to come on your show, obviously, because like Wolverhampton, some amazing organisations that are over there. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to have worked with companies like Black Country Touring because of my theatre background. There's Wolves Arena, all that kind of stuff, whether it's the art gallery. So can those particular organisations get in touch with you to, I don't know, or are you open to anything? Or can anyone contact you? Or is it a case of, well, wait there, mate, you've got to be like this, or you've got to be like that? Or is there certain things? Have you got your remits where you're like, sorry, mate, we don't want you in because we can't?
I think we want, when we say we want to hear from you, we want to hear from you. And if you want to call us and just tell us about something that you did today that maybe 6 months ago you never would have done.
Yeah.
Like it might not be a story that we can do as a big feature. Yeah. But do you know what? If someone rang me today and said, I haven't been out my house for 9 months, and today I had the courage to walk to the shop and go and do my weekly shop today. Do you know what? I'm on air. Shout out to whoever your name is for heading out of the house today after being inside for 9 months. I hope you enjoyed that walk, because it doesn't matter. If you want to tell us something and you want to share something with us, then we're going to talk about it. Yeah. And if you contact us and tell us some things that you're doing, then of course we're going to shout about it. Like, why wouldn't we? It's a wonderful thing. We're here for Wolverhampton. So we want to highlight how incredible the people are, how incredible the place is. And we'll do that in any way we can.
I'm going to share with you something that I've done that I didn't do 9 months ago, which is just quite unbelievable. And I'm prepping you to think of your thing that you've done as well, that you're doing now. Apart from, this doesn't count. This doesn't count. So for me, I've never done jigsaws. But suddenly I've started to do jigsaws. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And so, you get the 500 pieces of jigsaws and just kind of taking your time and the satisfaction. The worst thing is in our house, everyone wants to be that person who puts that last piece in. But I haven't done it yet, so I get annoyed by it. But so that's something that I've started to do, and it is extremely satisfying. And also, I think it keeps your mind active as well. So if there's anyone out there who wants to do jigsaws, I'd say do it. So come on, what have you done that you weren't doing 9 months ago?
Oh gosh, I'm quite musical, and so I've always played guitar. I sing as well, and so I got back into guitar as well recently because I haven't picked it up for a while. But also I've started to learn to play piano and keyboard, which has been quite fun. Again, because I also run a choir in Wolverhampton, so it's being able to accompany myself and the choir. We are able to in these post-COVID times. So I guess that's probably the only thing I can think of.
So I'm hoping now that you play your guitar on your show.
Oh, well, we ain't got that far, Vimmel, to be honest. But maybe if the boss lets me, I'll be there.
I think you've got to do that. I think you've got to just do a few little kind of things, and maybe what you'll get is you can get Letitia's like kind of inspiration speech and a bit of guitar over it or something like that, and it's literally 2 lines and then that's it. So Star Band, yeah, definitely. So come on, how about you, Letitia?
I'm there for it. Do you know what? Something I didn't do last year that I'm doing this year is walking a lot. I bought myself some snow boots, some good walking boots.
Yeah.
And I use the time that I have now to go walking, and I take photos every time I go out to go, and I try and go somewhere. Obviously, I've got to stay local to where I live, but it turns out there's some stunning places where I live that I can take some incredible photos, and then of course I post them onto the old social media.
Well,
but yeah, I've definitely really invested in some walking boots so that I can go, and it's just a bit, be a bit healthier, and it makes me feel better when I get back. And even when it's freezing, I went out on Sunday and did a bit of a hike in the snow. It snowed whole time I was out. But when I came home, I felt incredible. I think it's so good for my mental health as well, because I think, like I said, it's really important to keep yourself mentally well as well as physically well during these times. So that's my thing that I wasn't doing before.
No, well done. That's brilliant. I encourage everybody. I tell you what's near you guys, which is quite lovely, is at Wren's Nest in Wolverhampton, near the station. In Wolverhampton, Wren's Nest, which you can go for a nice walk around there. And there are a few other areas as well around there in terms of Wolverhampton. Top 10 walks in Wolverhampton. There you go. Something you got to do now, Letitia.
I don't know Wren's Nest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been there.
It's actually I think it was recognised by I don't know, that big board, where if there's anything of national importance, world importance, there's a stone there that's been recognised for what it does, for when it was founded. It goes back almost to, I think, the Jurassic period. I could be making all this up, but it sounds good. But there's something there anyway. So yeah, definitely. Okay, so listen. What's the station? What is it? Is it 89.1? What is it? What's the FM, or is it? Or I don't know. Just in case you're like, okay, what is your?
Currently, we're on DAB, and then you can get us online. So if you went onto your search engines and type in BBC Radio Wolverhampton, we will pop up, and you can listen live or get us on catch up also as well. So at the minute, we are only on there and DAB, digital radio.
Okay, and this is up until guaranteed. Is it up until July? Is it, or is there a date? Is it March? How long the station's going to be up for, or is it?
Well, we're here for you in extraordinary times, and we'll for as long as extraordinary times last, we'll hope to be here, and we'll
No, I just didn't know whether it was that thing of, because you're doing such a great service in terms of connecting people and communities, and you kind of go, you don't want this to be kind of temporary. You want it there to be permanently, because I think. From what I've seen in terms of Wolverhampton, it doesn't get a lot of positive light yet. It is amazing place. As I said, I've been fortunate to work there and within the arts and with different communities, and everyone, the way they just kind of come together and they help one another. So you kind of go, you're hoping that it just continues on, because otherwise there'll be a gap if it goes. So yeah, I'm just giving you my bit anyway. So look, long may it continue. And I don't mean that people continue to have COVID, because we don't want them to have COVID. We want COVID to come to an end.
I did wonder where you were going with that then.
Yeah. Letitia's going, oh, yes. Oh, what do you mean you're recovering? That means I'm not going to have a show. I need to have a show.
You said that, not me. I'm just putting that out there.
No. But look, Letitia, Elise, it's been so lovely chatting to you. I want to wish you both amazing success with this, and continue and that it goes well. And if it does come to an end, keep us updated as to where you go on to next, because I think you obviously are a good vehicle to carry those important stories and those important voices. So really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. I'm going to just stop recording now. Thank you.
Oh, Vimal, thank you.
It was awesome.